Yo, what's good YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are checking out Kartellen featuring DANI M, MINA OMRÅDEN. Alright, I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I haven't, yo, I gave it my best shot. But without further ado, this is OG Swedish rap. And yo, without further ado, let's get it! Cheese!
Stress, DANI M.
Shout out to them tower blocks, boy. That's when you know you're in the hood, like with them unflashy tower blocks, you know, yo, you're back in the ends right there, boy. Hey.
Stress, DANI M. Kartellen.
Sorry, I was not ready for that one. This is a nice chill song, boy. It's gonna be a chill one. From that beat, it sounds like it's gonna be chill. Come on.
Stress, DANI M. Kartellen. Unga röker bra utanför fritidsgården. Tjackisen står och dyrkar något av blåsen. Polans mamma gömmer systembolagsbåsen. Välkommen till mina områden. Svär att alla här sitter.
Bro, think about it. Man said, yo, kids outside the youth center smoking the bud. You know what I mean? Robbers picking locks and that. And then boom. You got your mum trying to, well, bro's mum trying to hide the liquor bag. All of these things that happen in the hood, and it's just like, yo, I can resonate with some of them things as well, bro. Do you know what I mean? Youth centers when I was growing up was a little bit scarcey. There was still some, but they were getting rid of them type of thing. But, yo, it's all a bit mad. For me, it was like people smoking bud out in the car parks and like in the parks and that. Do you know what I mean? But, ooh, all right. I can't even pronounce that, but that's where he's from, I'm assuming. Yeah, because he said, yo, welcome to my hood. All right, let's hear this. Whoa, what's happening there? Oh, George, bro. Man's from George, bro.
DANI M. Kartellen. Unga röker bra utanför fritidsgården. Tjackisen står och dyrkar något av blåsen. Polans mamma gömmer systembolagsbåsen. Välkommen till mina områden. Svär att alla här sitter fast i psykosen. In och ut och in från kriminalvården. Som politikerna glömde postkoden. Välkommen till mina områden.
Sorry, but I gotta say that my guy's saying like, yo, certain men are out of reality. They're in psychosis. Yeah, in and out of prison, in and out of prison. That's what they feel like is normal life. Do you know what I mean? And yo, you see that? You do see that? People that sometimes you even see people want to go back into pen just because they can't cope with life outside. Because yo, everything is, yo, your breakfast is at this time, this and that time. And then when you come outside and like, yo, freedom. So how am I fending for myself and that? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yo, it's facts right there. And he's saying like certain people neglected the postcode. Politicians. And what do they normally do? They put everybody, the riffraff, in the dead areas, and then they keep the nice areas nice. Let's just be real. That's what happens. In the UK, it happens everywhere around the world. So, hey, come on! Som politikerna glömde postkoden. Välkommen till mina områden.
Se på mina gamla områden, där normaligt åren. I mina portar mannen dämpar smärta med droger. Med sprutor som kan innebära döden. Det thai-smack här ute som flödar i barns ådror.
Ooh, that's how Bob basically saying, yeah. The depression in the hood, the madness that goes on in the hood. People are trying to nullify their mood or their vibes or their vibrations, whatever you want to call it, with, you know what I mean, the sniff, the shoot, or whatever you want to call it. But then saying like, yo, we're heroin, we're the shoot, yeah, or the burn, whatever you want to call it, yeah, is running through the veins of the young. That's absolutely madness, boy. Madness. Hey, alright, I'm here for this, boy. This is a banger.
Där normaligt åren. I mina portar mannen dämpar smärta med droger. Med sprutor som kan innebära döden. Det thai-smack här ute som flödar i barns ådror. I mina områden är koden lagboken som då och då skapar rubriker. Då träffat soldat död skriker. Lämna mig kritiker och sluta snegla på mig, mannen snegla på politiker. Det social kannibalism här ute, vem är cyniken? Så barns liv förstöras
framför hopplösa mammor som inget kan göra. Vad då ska de låsa in barnen?
So I'm assuming he's saying about the cannibalism, about the hood, like just people just unaliving certain man, unaliving, getting man back and all this madness, yeah? And it basically saying like, yo, what? We're gonna blame the parents? What do? Either stop having them or lock them up? Do you know what I mean? Or is it the politicians that just turn a blind eye to these things? And I get, you know, sometimes you can't solve everything with just throwing more money at it or whatever. Yeah, there's some deep-rooted issues there. But my guy has a point. You know what I mean? If you're a single parent mum, all right, and your son is growing up and only to a certain point of age where you, as a mum, you can kind of bad up your child, especially if he's a boy. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So when they're like 14, 15, you can't really do too much. Do you know what I mean? 16, 17, yo, it's a long day for everyone. So, you have a point there, I ain't gonna lie.
Lämna mig kritiker och sluta snegla på mig, mannen snegla på politiker. Det är social kannibalism, man ryter vem är cyniken. Så barns liv förstöras framför hopplösa mammor som inget kan göra. Vad då ska de låsa in barnen eller sluta och föda? Politiker vill alltid se och höra, men aldrig någonsin röra. De skakar på axlarna, typ vad ska vi göra? Oprivilegierad så krälar jag här nere. Det är inte dämpa med droger, dämpar jag med VD i mina områden.
That's why I always say, like, yo, sometimes people say, yo, it doesn't make a difference where you grow up, where you live, where you're born or whatever. 100% it does. It matters where you grow up in the world, and it matters exactly what postcode, what street, what area you grow up on as well. Do you know what I mean? When you go down to London, you can see that you go through a couple blocks, completely different. Nice, suburban, lovely, you know what I mean? You go around the corner, whew, long day for everybody. Do you know what I mean? But it does affect your life going forward, and it really does have something to say about what your chances are coming out of it and in life in the future. So, yo, hey, this song is a banger, I ain't gonna lie.
Så krälar jag här nere. Det är inte dämpa med droger, dämpar jag med VD i mina områden med kanonen där bredvid.
Unga röker braj utanför fritidsgården. Tjackisen står och dyrkar något av blåsen. Polans
DANI M.
gömmer systembolagsbåsen. Välkommen till mina områden. Svär att alla här sitter fast i psykosen. In och ut och in från kriminalvården. Som politikerna glömde postkoden. Välkommen till mina områden.
Jag och gatan blev min lärare. Utanförskapets tyngd visste ej hur jag skulle bära den. Det var osammanhängande impulser som styrde mig. Klara sig den som klara sig kan. Det var då gatan tog min hand. Jag följde bara.
And that's the truth there. Do you know what I mean? Basically, the streets raised him, basically. Taught him what he knew. Do you know what I mean? And then the consequences of not going to school, being excluded, all that stuff was outweighed by, you know what I mean, what he felt on the streets. Do you know what I mean? I can't speak for that because I've never been on the streets and that. But I can imagine, and I've seen people been on the streets, yo, it's a pull. You know what I mean? But I can imagine people on the streets, yo, you got respect. You got the gal, you got the money, you got the cheddar. Yo, when I was walking around with my busted Reebok Classics, yeah, my mates that were doing all this madness were still living their life. Do you know what I mean? Driving around in posh things and all this niceness. But, yo, it's a choice you make at the end of the day. But sometimes you can't always make that choice. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yo, it's facts, man. It's facts.
Hur jag skulle bära den. Det var osammanhängande impulser som styrde mig. Klara sig den som klara sig kan. Det var då gatan tog min hand. Jag följde bara strömmen, ville komma i land. Ville ödet lura. Född på fel sida av stan. Jag var dömd till att förlora. Så jag gamblade fett, försökte chanserna förstora. I jordbrukskvarter med en kofot och en luva. Hotad utav slug.
So you can tell that Georgesboro has been a madness since day. Yeah? Way before numero uno, yeah, I mean, RB, all madness before that. Do you know what I mean? Man said, yo, it was not looking promising, so you had to take a risk. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I always say, like, yo, you see these drill rappers, people saying about drill is about this and this madness, it's all this thing, yeah? But, bro, at the end of the day, these men are probably, you know what I mean? Their cards are probably very, very limited, yeah? And they managed to find some music or find their thing and do their thing. So, yo, we can't judge it. But that massive chance, that risk that they've taken, if it pays off, then they're totally generations after generations have been lifted out of poverty, and they can actually do stuff. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yo, facts. Absolute facts. Yo, I'm loving this track. I ain't gonna lie.
Sida av stan, jag var dömd till att förlora. Så jag gamblade fett, försökte chanserna förstora. I Jordbros kvarter med en kuffert och en luva. Hotad utav snuttar, riskerar många år. Och jag vet hur det kan sluta, på livstid eller vår. Jag vill jaga gettodrömmen till sista drog.
Sorry, but quickly, my guy basically said, yo, the risk was also ending up in prison and being on a stretcher. And that's why I always say, on the roads, yo, it's fun when you're having that time. Yo, it's good. But then after that, you know what I mean? Prison, dead for me. I ain't gonna lie. I don't want that. Yeah? And being on a stretcher, unaliving, deleted, nah. You know what I mean? I even heard another one, evaporated. Yeah? Next man like Jammer said, evaporations. I said, sir, I would have got evaporated. Shout out to Jabber, innit? If you know Jabber, you know Jabber, innit?
Riskerar många år och jag vet hur det kan sluta, på livstid eller vår. Jag vill jaga gettodrömmen till sista droppen, uppslukad av KVV mellan brotten. I mina områden cirkulerar helikoptern, skott, blott, koks och plotter på betongen.
You know what, 100%. When you hear that helicopter circle, yeah, with the little lights on as well, or just in the daytime, you go around the park or whatever, around your area, you know something popped off. You know something popped off. Do you know what I mean? Hey, come on, man. This is a bad
Helikoptern, skott, blott, koks och plotter på betongen.
Unga röker bra utanför fritidsgården. Tjackisen står och dyrkar något av blåsen. Polans mamma gömmer systembolagsblåsen. Välkommen till mina områden. Svär att alla här sitter fast i psykosen. In och ut och in från kriminalvården. Som politikerna glömde postkoden. Välkommen till mina områden.
Träffa lillgrabb som säger jag så att jag skjuter i. Lillgrabb frågar efter tips till att bli rik. Själv är jag bara trött och reflekterar över mitt liv. Lillgrabben ung och hungrig, ser allt från ett annat perspektiv. Vill jag ta sin chans, låt det så bli. Min själ är nu trött. Mina minnen kretsar runt allt folk som har dött. Har pussat.
Yeah. That's the truth there, boy. Young kids are looking at him like, yo, how are you doing all this? How are you making all your cheddar? But it's, as I said, it's the risk that he's took. And obviously he had to do some madness to get there. So these kids are basically going to be following in his footsteps, taking those risks, doing them madnesses. But, do you know what I mean? They see it from a different view. They're like, yo, all I got to do is 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, a year, make 10K. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're younger, you think 10K, oh, I'm sorted. Yeah? But they forget about inflation, all that madness going on. So, yo,
Grabben ung och hungrig, ser allt från ett annat perspektiv. Vill han ta sin chans, låt det så bli. Min själ är nu trött. Mina minnen kretsar runt allt folk som har dött. Har pussat döda kroppar, vissa smattrade av skott. Försöker bearbeta summeringen av alla hårda år som har gått. Känner mig som en gammal haltande byracka. Ärrat som alltid gjort.
Sorry, but my guy said I feel like an old limping dog, scarred. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. The streets is honestly absolutely mental, boss. Do you know what I mean? The streets is different. Like, when you go to war, yeah? And you got the support, you got other little bits around you, yeah? And then once you come out of war, if you survive, you got the counseling, you got all of this madness. But on the streets, bro, you're seeing people unalive, you're seeing people deleted, you're seeing people that are close to you unalive and deleted. You know what I mean? That trauma, that PTSD. There's so many roadmen that have PTSD. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And, yo, what services are you accessing? What services are they accessing? Because there's nothing for them. Do you know what I mean? So imagine having all of that thing on you. And, yo, I would understand why it feels like a limping old dog. Do you know what I mean? Yo, Kartellen, boy. Speaking of facts out here, boy.
Vissa smattrade av skott. Försöker bearbeta summeringen av alla hårda år som har gått. Känner mig som en gammal haltande byracka. Ärrat som alltid gjorde rätt och aldrig backa. Gatahund som följde koder och aldrig snacka. En gammal hund som har...
Typical OG. Yeah, I mean, follow the code and never talk. Shout out to these, man, because, yo, it's running thin around here, boy. Modern day, everybody's talking.
Gatuhund som följde koden och aldrig snacka. En gammal hund som har lärt sig att sitta. Min son uppväxt har jag i cellen missat. Inget här på krita, har fått betala, även sett min guldskitta. Life is a bitch, men jag krigar.
See, that's the other thing as well. My guy said he missed his son grow up in all of this madness because he was in prison most of the time. Do you know what I mean? And some could argue like, yo, he was trying to deliver a better life for his family, all this madness, yeah. But sorry, but your kid ain't gonna see it like that. Do you know what I mean? Your kid ain't gonna see it like that because I'm assuming the idea is you to shelter your kid from all of that madness. So they're not gonna understand how the roads work and how the streets work. You're gonna try and make them understand like, yo, this ain't normal. Just carry on doing your school, carry on doing whatever you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So hey, they ain't gonna understand, yo, why is daddy missing my recital or my play and my thing at school or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Parents' evening. Woo!
Har fått betala, även sett min guldskitta. Life is a bitch, men jag krigar den bitchen in i det sista.
Unga röker bra utanför fritidsgården. Tjackisen står.
Sorry, but for this one, we have to just go back a little bit because this is a banger.
Unga röker bra utanför fritidsgården. Tjackisen står och dyrkar något av blåsen. Polans mamma gömmer systembolagsbåsen. Bang om mig till mina områden. Svär att alla här sitter fast i psykosen. In och ut och in från kriminalvården. Som politikerna glömde postkoden. Bang om mig till mina områden. Unga röker bra utanför fritidsgården. Tjackisen står och dyrkar något av blåsen. Polans mamma gömmer systembolagsbåsen. Välkommen till mina områden.
Jeez, I ain't gonna spend too much time on this part here, boy. But what I'm gonna say, that was a banger. That's in my playlist. Kartellen, DANI M, crazy, yeah. I would have thought DANI M would have had a bigger part of it. He was just on the chorus, but yo, shout out to him for that one. But that right there was real facts, and I enjoyed it, man. My guy basically summarized the hood. Do you know what I mean? And me not even being a part of, like, I'm not a part of the street life. I'm not part of that side of it. But I've seen that stuff. Do you know what I mean? I resonate with certain things about that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a madness, man. But one thing I will always say, even if you grow up in the hood, you grow up on the block, you grow up on this, boy, every time that you go back to it, it still feels like home. Even if it was your little isho, it still feels like home. Do you know what I mean? So shout out to the hood, shout out to the block, shout out to the struggle. Because, yo, regardless, it's made us. We are who we are. And, yo, embrace it. So, yeah, please remember, like, comment, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next one. Peace!